Hello, this is Gary from the Solar Bus. How's it going? So I went to the Renewable Energy Vermont conference this year and held in Burlington, Vermont. I wanted to share with you some of the things that I learned about the emerging technology, about policies, and all about what's going on in renewable energy in 2010. I brought my video camera along and I posted on YouTube some of the sessions and talks that I thought were the most interesting that I'd like to share with you. This session focuses on town energy committees. Many towns now have a committee that focuses on ways the town or people in the town can reduce their energy use and use more renewable energy. There's also an umbrella organization called VECAN that helps out these local town committees in networking together and working on projects. So if you're on one of these local committees or thinking about starting one or joining one, or if you're just not aware that they exist and maybe you want to find one in your town, you'll find this video to be very informative. I hope you agree.
Thank you. I'm Johanna Miller. I'm the Outreach Director and Energy Program Co-Director at the Vermont Natural Resources Council. Many of you we've crossed paths over the course of time. VNRC was a founding member of the Vermont Energy and Climate Action Network, which is the ever-evolving, growing network of town energy committees, nearly 100 now in the state of Vermont, and the organizations that are working to support or work with them in some way. And VECAN essentially started in about 2005, and there were probably about a half dozen or so town energy committees, and a group of organizations, including mine, and several others across the state: New England Grassroots Environment Fund, Vermont Energy Investment Corporation, Community Climate Action, the Sustainable Energy Resource Group. We all came together with the interest of starting and supporting and strengthening town energy committees. And as many of you are on these groups, clearly you know that this is where a lot of the action happens, at the grassroots. And so VECAN, we are organizations that are really working to sort of help, build on the momentum that's already underway at the local level and coordinate and collaborate where possible. Clearly we have some serious challenges in front of us, and I think those of us in this room here today and many more of us out there and in the world need to know that this is also a time of opportunity and saving energy and transitioning to a renewable energy economy and figuring out different ways to get us where we need to go in our transportation issues here in the state of Vermont. It's really important. So VECAN essentially has figured out ways that we have found that are working fairly well to deliver coordinated services to community energy groups. And just really quickly, we essentially have figured out there are 4 ways where we deliver or work with communities. We host oftentimes at the regional planning commissions these regional energy network gatherings, which are just forums to gather in regions around different topics. Those have been very successful ways to provide information. We also host an annual Community Energy and Climate Action Conference. How many of you in this room have actually attended that conference in the past? Great. Well, hopefully the rest of you can come this year. Put it on your calendar. It's December 4th. That conference is a great way for community energy groups and local officials and others that are in the energy field in some way to network and to coordinate, etc. We do have a website. VECAN has a website, and it's our aim to essentially provide a clearinghouse for community energy committees and connect them to each other. We have the information of the community groups on that website. And we provide direct technical assistance to community groups as well through different programs that many of you actually have created, that we have borrowed, and we are helping communities run with, including Button Up and the Vermont Community Energy Mobilization Program that came out of Efficiency Vermont. Way to Go, Commuter Challenge. We're working on those things. We're also working on things like the Property Assessed Clean Energy Program, which is the clean energy financing tool that the legislature enabled a couple sessions ago, and that has definitely run into some stumbling blocks at the federal level, but about 40 communities in the state of Vermont have signed on to the Vermont Energy Investment Corporation's Quick Start program for a pace. And clearly, as we know and as you are aware of, I'm sure, that financing for good, efficiency, renewable projects is one of the biggest challenges for homeowners and for communities, and PACE is one way to get at that issue. And so we are helping as VECAN to sort of coordinate response, working with communities and VEIC to sort of get them the resources that they need if and when the federal snafu gets worked out, and we are very hopeful and are going to be looking for a state level fix on that. So that is just a quick overview of some of the work that we're doing as VECAN, and we have worked with many of you here in this room, and it's our goal essentially, to help build the momentum that you are creating in your communities or in your professional lives so that we can further our efforts here in the state of Vermont on energy and climate action and essentially, really be the leader that we need to be on these issues. And VECAN is one forum to do that. So we really welcome, your ongoing partnership, and you can learn more about VECAN by visiting vecan.net or contacting me. My contact information is in the guide. And I'm going to turn it over to these fellows who will talk to you about some of the programs as Community Energy Committee members or as town officials that they are doing and we are helping with in some way. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Duncan McDougall, and I'm the chair of Waterbury LEAP, the Local Energy Action Partnership, which is a town energy committee that I helped start almost 4 years ago. And the reason we're still standing is thanks to folks like Paul and Johanna and VPERG and VECAN and Surge and others. And that's one point I want to make first and foremost, and that is that if some of you out there are interested in starting a town energy committee, or you have one and you're trying to get things going, I have never come across anyone who hasn't been anything but helpful in Vermont. So all you have to do is talk to us, talk to any of these organizations, any other town energy committee, and you will get whatever help you need, and I love that. So Waterbury LEAP was started, as I said, almost 4 years ago, and since then we've been quite active. We've probably completed 3 dozen projects. You can go to our website, waterburyleap.org. And as far as I know, we are the only town energy committee in Vermont that has turned itself into a formal 501c3 nonprofit. And the reason we've done that is we've set, what are they call a BHAG, I guess, a big, hairy, audacious goal. We've set the goal that by 2020, we want Waterbury, Vermont to be the greenest town in the state of Vermont. Whether we'll get there or not, we don't know, but we do know that by setting that goal and motivating people in our town, we're going to get a heck of a lot farther than if we hadn't. So we are very excited about that, and we decided to turn ourselves into a 501c3, which opens up a lot of funding possibilities. And we've done, I think, quite a bit in our town over the past 4.5 years. And I'll just give you a quick snapshot of what we've done just this year to give you a sense of what kinds of things Town Energy Committee can do. Just in the past few months, we finished installation of a 15 kilowatt solar array on our middle school, Crossett Brook Middle School. And if you walk into the school, you'll see there's a wonderful monitor right there that shows live data, which is also being streamed live on the web, shows you what's being generated at that particular time, and also screens about how solar power works, etc. So anyone who walks through that school, parents, teachers, students, can see real-time renewable energy come alive. We raised money, and in the next couple of weeks we'll complete a smaller solar array on our elementary school. And last week, actually, Crossett Brook, which is pretty sizable, every kid in school went to a big solar fest. They had a solar fest, and half of the students had spent a month or so working on projects related to renewable energy, and the rest of the students walked through this display and learned about it, which was very exciting because one of our main goals is to motivate and educate the next generation. So those are 2 solar projects. We're in the process of completing an energy inventory in town to help us pick our shots, to help us measure what it is that we're doing and what impact we're having. And as part of that, we're trying to be very thoughtful about measures, verifiable measures. So it's one thing to say, we think we're the greenest town in Vermont, but what we want to do is eventually have 15 or 20 measures and be able to use them across the state and be able to compare ourselves to other towns and maybe have fun challenges and say, we're going to take on Richmond over the next 6 months, and let's see who can go furthest in this important area. We understand that transportation is the most important issue when you're dealing with emissions. And our mission as an organization is to advance renewable energy, energy efficiency, and to shrink emissions. So one thing we're doing is we are in the process of pushing a bike pedestrian system in town. And over the past few months, we've had a number of meetings. We have almost 20 town organizations that are actively involved, and there's a tremendous amount of excitement around that. And it's going to be a multi-year project, but we hope that by doing that, we're going to be getting a lot of folks out of their cars for trips in town. Many more kids are going to be biking or walking to school instead of jumping in mom and dad's car, etc. We have an annual energy fair, and I recognize some of you from having been to those. The last one we had almost 50 exhibitors and 325 attendees. And the next one, which is April 9th, pop it in your calendar. We are expecting more than 400 people to come to that, and that's at Crossing Brook Middle School. We are collaborating with VPIRG on their very exciting Solar Communities project, and they have selected Waterbury and Williston as their first two solar communities, and we're helping them as best we can get the word out. They're carrying the load on that, but we're hoping that through their efforts, we might be able to double or maybe even triple the number of solar installations in our town. And we're looking into carpooling and car sharing. We distributed compact fluorescent light bulbs. We have a number of other things that are up on our website. I passed out, and I don't know if I had quite enough for everyone, I apologize. But just some tips. If you're interested in starting a town energy committee, or I understand that a lot of them get started and then they burn out, or some of the leaders go on to other things. But this is just some lessons learned along the way of ways to start them and keep them going. And later on, as we do the roundtable, if you have any questions about that, I'd be glad to address that. But that's just the perspective of town energy committees. We were about the 20th, 25th to get started. They're now almost 100, which is very exciting. And it would be wonderful if every town in Vermont had them. And my personal view is on really important issues in life, when the people lead, the leaders will follow. And right now the leaders are focused on bottom line and paying bills and other things. And if we lead and get them to focus on these important issues of renewable energy, energy efficiency, and emissions, then eventually they're going to follow. Thank you.